either a daring adventure or nothing at all. Helen Keller. I'd like to talk to you about a subject that is often misunderstood, feared, and yet absolutely necessary for a life of impact. Risks. Not the kind of reckless gamble that comes from desperation, but the deliberate, calculated risks that come from faith, vision, and courage. Too many people live their lives as if avoiding risk is the safest path forward. They stay in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, and routines that slowly suffocate their dreams. All because they fear the unknown. But here's the truth. Avoiding risk is often the biggest risk of all. Every breakthrough in your life will require you to step outside your comfort zone. Every dream you have ever had will demand that you walk into the unknown, and every calling worth pursuing will ask you to put something on the line. I'm not just talking about financial risks. Those do matter, but I'm talking about the emotional risk of vulnerability, the mental risk of thinking differently, and the spiritual risk of believing God for more than your current circumstances suggest. Some of you have been standing at the edge of change for years. You've been looking over the cliff, imagining what could be, and then talking yourself back to safety. Tonight I want to push you over, not into danger, but into destiny. The first risk you must take is the risk of believing in yourself. It sounds simple, but self-doubt has killed more dreams than failure ever will. You have to risk letting go of the opinions of people who cannot see what God put inside you. Believing in yourself means deciding that your vision is valid even if no one else claps for it. It means choosing to trust the gift you've been given before there's any proof it will work. It's risky, but it's essential. The second risk you must take is the risk of starting before you're ready. If you wait until everything is perfect, you will never move. There will always be another skill to learn, another dollar to save, another excuse to justify waiting. So start anyway. Starting before you're ready forces you to grow. It teaches you resourcefulness. It proves that progress is not about perfection. It's about motion. The third risk is the risk of rejection. You cannot play big and avoid hearing the word no. Every opportunity you want will require you to face the opportunity that someone will turn you down. But here's the twist. Every no gets you closer to the right yes. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It's redirection toward where you're truly meant to be. The fourth risk is the risk of loss. If you're going to build something great, you have to accept that you might lose time, money, relationships, and even comfort along the way. Loss is painful, but it's also refining. It strips away what's unnecessary. It makes room for what's essential. What you lose in the short term is often nothing compared to what you gain in the long run. The fifth risk is the risk of criticism. People will have opinions about everything you do. And if you do nothing, they'll have opinions about that too. So when you take risk, you threaten the comfort of those who have chosen not to. Your courage will highlight their fear. And rather than deal with their own discomfort, some will project it onto you. But remember this, the loudest voices are rarely the ones taking the boldest actions. Critics watch from the sidelines. Leaders play on the field. The sixth risk is the risk of failure. And yes, you will fail. But failure is not the end. It's the tuition you pay for the education of success. Every successful person you admire has a history of mistakes, wrong turns, and setbacks. The difference between them and everyone else is that they refused to stop. The seventh risk is the risk of outgrowing people. This one hurts the most because it's personal. As you take risks, you will evolve, and your growth will not always match the pace of the people around you. Sometimes, taking a risk for your future will mean walking away from the familiar faces, not because you don't love them, but because you can't let their comfort become your cage. The eighth risk is the risk of being misunderstood. Not everyone will get your decisions. Some will label you foolish. Others will say you've changed. But being misunderstood is the price of walking a path that hasn't been traveled before. If your vision is crystal clear to everyone else, it's probably not big enough. The ninth risk is the risk of surrender. This is the willingness to give your plans to God and trust Him with the outcome. It's letting go of control and allowing Him to guide you where logic alone can't take you. Surrender is risky because it feels like losing power, but in reality, it's gaining alignment. When you align with God's strategy, you tap into a wisdom far greater than your own. The 10th risk is the risk of impact. Many people shy away from leadership because they don't want the responsibility of influencing others. But you were not called to hide. You were called to lead. Impact is risky because it puts you in a position where your words and actions matter. But if you avoid that responsibility, you rob the world of the influence you were designed to have. The 11th risk is the risk of investment. Whether it's investing in your education, your business, your health, your relationships, everything worthwhile requires you to put something in before you get something out. Investment forces you to commit. It forces you to bet on yourself. And when done with wisdom, it multiplies in ways you could never imagine. The 12th risk is the risk of change. Growth demands change, and change requires letting go of what's familiar. Change is risky because it makes you face the unknown, but without it, you will never step in the fullness of who you were meant to be. The 13th risk is the risk of standing alone. Sometimes your vision will isolate you, and while loneliness is uncomfortable, it is often the space where God does His deepest work in you. Standing alone builds resilience. It teaches you that your worth and direction don't depend on majority approval. The 14th risk is the risk of abundance. Yes, abundance is a risk because having more means managing more, stewarding more, and being accountable for more. Abundance tests your character. It demands that you handle blessings with humility and generosity. The 15th risk is the risk of legacy. Building something that outlives you requires long-term thinking, sacrifice, and the courage to plant seeds you may never see bloom. Legacy is risky because it demands you play the long game, but it's worth it because it ensures your life's impact continues long after you're gone. So, why must you take these risks? Because playing it safe has never changed the world. Playing it safe has never built movements, sparked innovation, or transformed communities. You are here to do more than survive. You're here to take risks that shake the ground beneath your feet and inspire others to do the same. Yes, risk will cost you, but they will also change you. And that change is the doorway to the life you've been praying for. Every risk you take in faith positions you to discover new strengths, new opportunities, and new levels of purpose. So, take the risk to believe in yourself. Take the risk to start before you're ready. Take the risk to surrender your plans to God and watch Him multiply them beyond anything you could have imagined. The road will not always be easy. You will question yourself. You will face setbacks. But remember this, if God called you to it, He will equip you for it. You are not here to live quietly in the shadows. You are here to shine, to lead, and to leave a mark that time cannot erase. So go. Step out. Take the risk. Your future, your freedom, and your legacy depend on it. You've got this. Peace and blessings, Dr. O.